Time for the Buckeye Talk game picks for Ohio State football this week. Home opener against Oregon, number 3 in the country, Ohio State, versus number 12 Ducks. Doug, what is your prediction for this game?
41-20 Ohio State. That covers the 14.5-point spread. If you had a fully healthy Kayvon Thibodeau for Oregon, I think it might be a little different score. Whether he plays or not, there's no chance probably he's going to be fully healthy. And I'm just not impressed with Oregon's offense. And I think defensively, Ohio State will have a couple guys back at least. I don't know that Ohio State even has to be great to win by 3 touchdowns. Oregon's not what I thought they might be. And maybe they'll be much better. Teams change from week 1 to week 2. But I think the quarterback's limited. Anthony Brown I don't think scares defenses. And so I just don't know that it's that interesting or that exciting or all that close. And so I'll take the Buckeyes by 3 touchdowns.
Steven, who are you taking?
Ohio State 45-24, which I think is a good mirror of where Ohio State's offense is and where its defense is, and also where Oregon's offense and defense is. Well, more their offense is. I think Ohio State's defense is going to give up some points because they haven't proven that otherwise, especially coming off that Minnesota game. I'm still a little skeptical there. But what's clear is I don't think anybody on Ohio State's regular season schedule is going to keep it under 40 points. It's too explosive. They had 45 points in 48 plays last week. So if you give them a regular dosage of plays, and Ryan Day can really work on a team, how many points can they put up? But at the same time, the defense is going to allow this game to be a little closer than normal for at least a quarter or two, just because Ohio State's defense is going to give up some explosive plays as well. So 45-24, where Ohio State's offense can't be stopped, but its defense can't slow anybody down either.
I'm picking Ohio State 38-21. After I spoke that into existence a couple of times, it seems like I might be undershooting on the score a little bit like I did last week, a little bit that I might be a low on the total. I was trying to give some respect to Oregon defensively and some respect to Kayvon Thibodeau. If he were able to play and be effective at all, I think he's good enough that if he's able to truly play, then he does affect the game. But I agree with what Doug was saying, whereas when we looked at this game going back to the spring, going back to when it was first looking ahead to this 2021 season in any substantive way, and we've talked about the tiers of college football before, and how Ohio State is up in that top 3. And then there's always good teams, like good Big Ten teams that are good and can go win bowl games and have 10, 11 wins in a year, but they don't really ever push up and threaten Ohio State in a real way for a whole game in that top tier. And it seemed like Oregon might be the latter. It seemed like they might be a team that could do that this year with the amount of talent that they had, multiple 5-star guys, a lot of top 100 guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. First-year quarterback for Ohio State. Maybe they could come in and rattle him. But I agree with what Doug said. Like, after I saw both sides of the ball from Oregon last week, seemed a lot more like just a Wisconsin-y, Penn State-y kind of caliber of a team, which is very good. I just don't think it's enough to challenge this Ohio State team, especially one that can put up this kind of points. And I definitely, if Oregon cannot stop Ohio State defensively, this is not a team that I want to get into a track meet with on the road for their first home game in 600 days.
By the way, I know Ryan Day has been hammering the whole 48 play thing. They gained a normal amount of yards.
They did.
So they had 3 drives that lasted less than a minute. So if they have 70 plays, they're not going to score 7. They're not going to gain 700 yards. They average 10 yards per play. Like, he wants more plays so they can work more stuff out on offense. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll score fewer points if they have more plays. Like, the idea that if they're going to score a lot more points if they have more plays, they just were incredibly explosive because Minnesota had no prayer of stopping their passing game.
Well, I think in that game.
Why is it? But why? They had a 70-yard drive that took 8 seconds. Well, would it be better if they had a 70-yard drive that took 5 minutes? It's a 70-yard touchdown drive.
I think you're looking at it a little bit wrong, though. I think what the insinuation is if they had stopped some of those Minnesota drives earlier, they would have had more possessions over the course of a game and had more plays.
But when they had I think we've overtalked it now. I think we've overtalked
the math
it.
That people.
The biggest math is 4 70-yard touchdowns. That's the biggest math. So if we really think that it's better for their offense to have a 10-play 70-yard drive instead of a 1-play 70-yard drive, Okay, I don't think that's actually
don't
better.
think
I don't know if
no
it's
one is
better.
insinuating that.
No, maybe I don't know. Maybe if I'm gonna, maybe it's just less pressure because also you had to have those explosive plays because your defense wasn't getting a stop.
Okay.
Correct. I
But
think it was more about just getting the ball fewer times than how many plays they ran when they got the ball. I think that's where the 48 comes from. It's not how many plays they ran, it's how many times they got the ball, how many possessions they had, which could only result in 48 plays, especially because, as you say, they were scoring so quickly. So we'll see if they can score that quickly against Oregon. Get the text 614-350-3315. We will be giving you analysis Saturday morning, what we're hearing about Ohio State's availability, what we're hearing about Kayvon Thibodeau if no decisions made by then, and what's going on during that game. News and analysis all day from Ohio State's home opener from the Buckeye Talk crew.